Hey, welcome back to CollectionDX. I am Gazbot with a review of Injustice 2 Darksied from HiYa Toys. All right, and here is Darksied in the box, Injustice 2. He's a little bit bigger than the Flash, which I just did, so I'm going to move him back a little bit. Same thing, though, window box, so you can see what's going on. He's dark, so it's a little bit harder to see until I bring it up close, but that doesn't matter because we're going to open him up anyway. On the back, it's the same as the Flash. There's two sort of promo pics and sort of more of a neutral pose than Flash, but I guess Darksied isn't as dynamic. So let's open it up. This is by HiYa Toys, by the way. Sample provided to CollectionDX, which then provided it to me, so thank you to both of them. And this is, just like with the Reverse Flash, there's a destroyed Daily Planet backdrop, which you could use or chuck or whatever. And I will take him out of his clamshell. Now, right away, I will say two things. I'll say a positive and a negative. He looks better than Flash to me, which is funny because Reverse Flash, I enjoyed. That's a more favorite character of mine than Darksied. He looks sturdier. The face looks better. Overall, just looks like a better figure. But the negative is the Flash came with a bunch of effect parts of lightning and stuff. I'm kind of shocked that Darksied didn't come with an Omega Beam. Even stranger, he has a separate head that looks like he'd be shooting the Omega Beams from his eyes. Let me check the box. Nothing in the box, nothing on the box. So yeah, it's not like I'm missing it. So let's take a look at him overall. He has this part here is sort of a rubbery top. Oh, and I think that was glued there, and I just unfastened one spot of it, unfortunately. Yeah, it's still glued down there. Yeah, he looks really nice. He looks like he looks in the game. He feels a little bit sturdier than the Flash. He's taller. And I'm mainly comparing him to the Flash because I just did the Flash review, and they're the same line and the same company. So rather than compare them to like other figures out there, I'm doing it that way. And the Flash was more similar to the Colonial Marine I reviewed like 2 years ago or however long it was. This figure, yeah, just feels nicer. It looks nicer too. The face was the big problem I had with the Flash. Now, I don't know if it's because he's a non-human character, but the paint on the eyes is spot on. And the features and stuff, and also the armor matches. So yeah, in a weird way, I'm liking this figure more because it's not Reverse Flash, because it's better than Reverse Flash. This part here is a little bit warped, which if it bothers you can fix it with heat. Probably won't bother me enough to fix it. Interestingly, that's molded on the butt area, but it's the rubber piece on the front. These pieces of armor are rubber. I'm gonna grab Reverse Flash for a second. I think he had the rubber. Oh no, he did. His little side things were rubber too, but then this was hard plastic, so he's kind of a mix of the two. And he's falling apart. Well, all I have him here, I'll show you a height comparison. Darksied is taller than Reverse Flash, as he let me tilt this down, sorry. Darksied is taller than Reverse Flash, as he should be, so he's perfectly in scale. In that universe, he's thicker, he's taller, which might be part of why he's just better, because they had more space and more canvas to work with. So let's check out his articulation. His head is on a ball joint, goes all the way around, and actually it's swappable, so there's the ball joint. Looks the same as what are on the hands. He does come with alternate hands that are sort of open and grasping, so the hands are very tight. That makes me nervous. That makes me very nervous. All right, I'm not going to mess with them too much. They should spin all the way around. Let me just pull it off then and switch hands. Oh, this is not what I expected. So on his head, it's like a white piece of harder plastic inside the more soft plastic. And on Reverse Flash, it's the same thing, the little white piece of plastic in there. But Darksied, it's like molded rubber. Is it underneath? That's weird. Let me check this hand. Oh, it's really on there. So it's the same basic joint, but no, I can feel it. It feels like there's that white plastic underneath, but they just covered it with the rubber, which is an interesting decision, especially since it's not the same as the other. But that results in it being quite tight. So I can spin it all the way around, and it's fine. The feeling I had was the grip of the rubber, so I thought it was going to break, but it's actually, once again, comparing it to the Flash and the Colonial Marine, I think it's better because they have more traction. It's like a stickier, they're not falling off like on the other figures. So his arms can go, there's another tight joint. You can see it's got the joint there for up and down motion. Wow, it won't move. Okay, I can go up. It's super tight. Probably should have soaked this in water, one of those types of figures. I didn't think it would be. And then down. Limited range of motion, but you got some. And then it spins all the way around. The elbow is single joint. It's actually, the same kind of weird joint. It like rotates here, and then it can go up about that much. Same thing on this arm, obviously. And then, like the Flash, he's got double ball jointed, one sort of under the rib cage area here, and then one at his waist. So get down about that much. get back about maybe a little more if I tried. And it probably spins all the way around, but with the armor, it's going to impede it. I can make it do it, but just, you could do it probably if you really needed to. The leg articulation actually looks, yeah, same as Flash. Could go out this way, up about that far. Can't go back much at all, but it does have a swivel at the upper thigh. Double jointed knee. It's always weird when like they have like the knee joints are pretty good, and then the elbow joints are like inferior. They're not even just not double jointed. They're like odd. Less odd on Darksied. Like the smaller figures, it shows up more on for whatever reason. Okay. So then there's no swivel on the calf. The foot go forward and backward, and then it could spin. There isn't like that rocker, but I don't think you really need it. He's a pretty stable figure, even without the stand. Here, I'll put him down. It's pretty good. He stays up okay. So this is his regular head, which is just sort of his neutral, I am Darksied. And then we'll flip it to the angry head. I want to call it the Omega Beam head, but considering he doesn't have the Omega Beam, which is so far my biggest complaint. Other than that, I'm liking this figure, which surprises me because the Reverse Flash was a big disappointment. Yeah, I like both the heads. Depending on how you want to display your Darksied, you kind of have the angry or the stern. Yeah, Omega Beams would be nice, but both the heads look good, so I'm not complaining about that. Let's check out his hands. Let's check out his hands. So I pull his head off. Whatever. I'll put this head back on. His hands are sort of gesticulating like with like the power. And this hand goes here. Oh, it's very tight. Both of these HiYa figures, like they're very, very tight. All the joints, which could be good or bad. I mean, better tight than loose, I guess, but I worry about breaking it sometimes, which hasn't happened, so I guess it's my own work. Wow, these hands are much harder to get on than the other pair for some reason. Okay, everything I said about feeling better about these hands, I'm starting to take that back, because now I feel like the rubber covering the nub is going to like rip or something. Well, I will say, while this guy is stronger, one of the things I kept saying on Reverse Flash is treat it like a statue that you set up once and leave. And while this guy isn't as bad as that, I'm starting to feel that way with these hands. Like, you don't want to mess with them too many times. It's not like an SH Figure Arts where you can pull it on and off 50 times. It doesn't cost as much as an SH Figure Arts, so that kind of makes sense. But this is the more, the power, I am Darksied. So yeah, but the paint is good all the way around. I'll throw him a couple poses, take a couple pictures, throw that in here. Out of the two, Darksied is the clear winner for me, which is a bummer because Darkside's not a particular favorite. I mean, he's a good character, you know, whatever, but he's not like my favorite, and Reverse Flash is. So if anything, I wished he was the worst figure. So similar to what I said with Flash, you know, once I played with him and just did some poses now, my opinion did drop a little bit. Not as much as it did with Flash, but of course, Apocalypse started with a higher... Wait, Apocalypse? Darksied. He lives on Apocalypse. Started with a higher score, you know, in my head than Flash did. I did notice the joints on the wrist starting to get a little bit of weird wear. You can see right here. Let me see if I can show you. There's a little bit of white stress. I think that's like the rubber or the rubberized paint starting to bend off. I don't think the joint is going to break, but I think that like purple area is going to break eventually. He has limited motion movements. Mainly his arms have a hard time going up and down. The legs are actually pretty good. Similar with Flash, actually. The legs are better than the arms. The main thing with him is he, unlike the Flash, doesn't need a lot of dynamic poses. He's a monarch. He stands there ruling over people, looking very, you know, tough and stern, and sometimes he gets into a fight with Superman, but barely ever. And so I don't expect him to have a lot of super dynamic poses that I have to worry about. Ugh, this hand. Come on, you get on their hand. But one pose that I wanted him to get in that I couldn't is the one where he sort of stands with his hands behind his back looking menacing. And it just, you can't. It won't really, you could kind of get it like this is the best you could do. But, you know, it's supposed to be folded behind his back. You know, like I'm not afraid of anything and I'm totally calm even though I'm super evil. But that being said, similar to, you know, what I said earlier, well, with Flash anyway, trying to get him in that pose was a failure. But when I just played with him and got him, you know, just sort of saw where it went, he then started ending up in some cool looking, you know, monarch fascist sort of poses. You know, I am Darksied, kneel before me. So this figure, pretty good. Out of the few HiYa figures I've played with, this is the best. Not in terms of character or whatever, but in terms of the way he looks, the paint. posability, you know, sturdiness and all that, but he does still have some of the issues that other HiYa figures I've played with have. Not as bad, but the hands are a little weird going on and off. They stay on, which again is better. The flexibility on the arms gets very inhibited. But good. It's a decent figure. It's you know, like I said, I'm comparing it against the other HiYa figures I played with, and it's the best one yet. I still think it's a bit... It's weird because it's overpriced because I think of like a DC Multiverse or a Marvel Legends or a similar figure that are the same price-ish, or maybe even a little cheaper, that are bigger and have more accessories and things like that. But he does feel more like you're getting a bang for your buck because he is bigger than Flash. So at $20-25, like I feel like he would be the deluxe figure in that line if the line was like a $10 or $15 figure. So kind of what I said with Flash is if you're a big Injustice 2 fan, you might want it. If you're a big Darkseid fan, you might want it. Now, unlike with Flash, Storm Collectibles does have a Darkseid figure that is more at the 6-7 inch scale, but it's $100 and something. So this is a fourth of the price, and it is a pretty good representation. And Darkseid does just need to kind of stand there and look menacing. So out of the two, I would recommend Darkseid way over Reverse Flash. But again, is this for your collection? I don't know. It's weird because I kind of want to put it on a shelf, but I don't know what it would go with because he's supposed to be bigger than everyone and he's smaller than everyone else. Yeah, I don't know. That's my issue, not yours. Overall, not bad. Should have come with some of Mega Beams. That's Injustice 2. I keep want to call Apocalypse. Darksied from HiYa Toys. So that's me, Gazbot. This has been CollectionDX. This is Darksied, the best of the 3 HiYa figures I've played with. Check them out if you want. Check out our other reviews, and if you have any requests, whatever, I am Gazbot, and this...